I want to be a pilot.
I want to become a teacher. I want to become a princess. I want to become a businessman. I want to become a doctor.
Every child has a dream to pursue, and the path of life he chooses is to reach this goal. But for some, it is not just about choosing the path. It is also about overcoming obstacles before you can be sure of the path. And this journey is what we are about to experience.
So there's trouble at home and there's trouble at school. Nobody seems to understand him.
For 1/3 of your life, all you're expected to do is perform well in academics. And that is exactly what a dyslexic child fails to do. And he is termed stupid, because no one knows what exactly.
In either reading or writing or in other forms of learning like in mathematics, mathematical operations specifically.
Primarily confused with late learners, dyslexia could sometimes really sneak up on you and go undiagnosed.
Secondly, he's unable to concentrate. He's unable to hold his pencil. His grip is not like of a normal child with the thumb and the forefinger support. He confuses basic words, like for dog he says log, or for was he says saw. He confuses basic words. Also, he has other emotional problems. He cannot play with other children. He's very impulsive. He's very sensitive. He has poor coordination. He can't do simple things like tying his shoelace or even blowing his nose. Even that becomes difficult for a child. And he does not have emotional and social maturity. Later on, when he goes to school, the difficulties he encounters are, he cannot write. He finds writing task very difficult and tiring. But if you ask him orally, he will score full marks on that. He loves to skip homework, not because he is lazy, but because homework becomes a very tedious task after school for a child with dyslexia. Because he is tired the whole day trying to keep on par with other classmates. The basic phonics sounds. So with no phonics, it relates to reading and writing. Some of them have visual perception problem. What they see vertically on a board and write horizontally in a book, that's called a visual perception problem. Some have hand-eye coordination problem. So these are specific difficulties. Dyslexia is a broader term. In that we have this, as you say, specific learning difficulties we call them.
Where do parents start from when a problem like this is observed?
A child who is detected as dyslexic, integration is the main thing on our mind. He has to go back, someday back to his normal class. He cannot be segregated. Hence, I look at something like 6 months to 1 year, something like that, to show a change and to be really on an average in the class, maybe 2 to 3 years. This very word learning disability, the word disability creates a wrong impact on the minds of society. They feel disability is something mentally, a child is mental. Because they don't accept it, they are defensive, they are in denial most of the time, saying, no ma'am, he's lazy, he doesn't study at home, that's why he is this way. And society also finds that this is unacceptable. How can this child is having a problem, does he have, are you going to him, special educator? That means really a mental problem. So even when I go for my special cases, they don't want the neighbor to know that a special educator is coming in the house to train my child. At first children get confused, as you said, as to why we have to sit separately. And they say, ma'am, we know the alphabets, we've learned them in the KG. And they wonder why this is happening to them. First thing that the teachers have to do is, they have to have empathy for this kind of a child. Not sympathy, but empathy. They should know what he's going through. He's not doing it purposely. So look for the cause. First thing is look for the cause. Don't punish the child. The child goes through a very difficult time in school first, because the teacher fails to understand that there is a problem. So the child is labeled as lazy, dumb, unintelligent. He's ridiculed by his classmates. He's made fun of. And to add to all this, when he comes back home, he's scolded for not being able to complete his notes from the board, not being able to bring homework down from the board. He's scolded back at home. With all this, a child has a very low self-esteem. Nobody seems to understand the difficulties he faces. And finally, he refuses to go to school. Finally, he prefers staying at home than again going day after day back to the same nightmare back at school every day.